Under the blistering sun of summer 2025, Q Station, once hailed as a jewel of China's high-speed rail network, gleamed with polished marble floors and majestic columns. From a distance, it resembled the lobby of a five-star hotel, a symbol of industrial prowess and national ambition. But on June 26th, beneath a cloudless sky, the station's ceiling collapsed without warning. Black, fetid water gushed through the breach, flooding the platform and sending passengers fleeing in panic. No rain, no storm, no forewarning, just an eerie silence from the authorities as the area was swiftly cordoned off and online searches for coup incident were scrubbed clean. This was no isolated accident. It was a glaring crack in the flawless image the Chinese Communist Party CCP has painted for decades, a facade concealing the rot of tofu infrastructure and a system crumbling from within. China, the land of infrastructure marvels, is facing a crisis of catastrophic proportions. From dams crumbling under floodwaters to skyscrapers decaying within years, and an economy teetering on collapse, leaving millions destitute, the cracks are not just in concrete, but in the trust of the people. As the CCP scrambles to control the narrative with glossy propaganda and ruthless censorship, the truth spills out like the black water from its shoddy projects. This is the story of a China sinking under the weight of corruption, negligence, and lies. Tofu projects, symbols of fragility. The term tofu has become a grim fixture in the Chinese lexicon describing infrastructure that looks grand but crumbles under pressure. From the 2008 Sichuan earthquake, where schools collapsed to reveal substandard rebar and diluted concrete, to recent disasters, tofu is not just a metaphor, but a painful reality. On July 3, 2025, Chengdu East Station in Sichuan, a gleaming transport hub, became the latest victim. After a summer rain, its ceiling buckled, unleashing a deluge that flooded the platform below. Engineers blamed an overloaded drainage system, but a larger question looms: why did a sponge city, a much-touted 2015 initiative to combat flooding, fail so spectacularly? Days later in Chongqing, the long-for Chongqing Chink Paradise Walk Mall witnessed a horrifying scene. On the afternoon of July 8th, after a heavy rain warning, the mall's ceiling collapsed, releasing a torrent of black water possibly mixed with sewage that destroyed shops and corridors. Panicked shoppers fled as debris and filth engulfed the space. 2 cities, 2 incidents, one pattern infrastructure that dazzles on the outside but hides shoddy quality within. These projects, from stations to malls, are built to impress but collapse under the slightest strain, leaving citizens to face disaster. Floods and broken dams, man-made catastrophes. If urban tofu projects are alarming, China's dam system, over 98,000 strong, more than any other nation, is a ticking time bomb. Many were built during Mao's Great Leap Forward with subpar materials and slipshod engineering. Experts like Chen Sheng in Hunan have long sounded alarms only to be silenced. The result, from 1954 to 2021, over 3,500 dams collapsed, nearly one per week, for 7 decades. The 1975 Banqiao Dam disaster remains the starkest example, claiming over 230,000 lives with no warning. The government buried the truth for 3 decades, a pattern that persists. In 2025, record floods exposed the system's fragility. In Sichuan's ancient Fuba town, a riverside gem with stone streets and wooden bridges, floodwaters struck without warning. Overnight, a wall of water submerged the town, leaving rooftops poking above muddy currents and debris floating in the aftermath. An elderly resident recounted, "The water rose faster than we could run. We didn't even have time to grab a flashlight. No sandbags, no evacuation plans, no preparation." Fuba didn't fall to nature. It fell to tofu dams built hastily, neglected, and left to fail under the weight of floods. In 2023, Zhuozhou was deliberately flooded to protect Beijing, a cold-blooded decision made without warning. Villages were left to drown in silence. Even the Three Gorges Dam, hailed as a national triumph, failed to stem floods in 2020, affecting over 54 million people. While officials claimed success downstream, residents watched their livelihoods wash away. Over 30,000 dams have never been inspected, and the rest groan under the strain of rain and time. These are not natural disasters, they are man-made, fueled by corruption and negligence. Shattered trust. The cost of silence. The collapse of tofu projects doesn't just destroy buildings, it erodes public trust. In Beihai's Guyuan City, a whistleblower named Mr. G shared a video showing 16mm rebar snapping by hand, an impossibility for standard steel. Inspection reports claimed the materials met quality standards, but the truth was undeniable. Mr. G faced threats and backlash, but his video stood as irrefutable evidence of a construction system that prioritizes profit over safety. In Qingdao's Tangdao Bay, a resident described a terrifying moment when their living room ceiling collapsed at midnight, exposing rusted rebar and crumbling concrete. "If we hadn't been sleeping in the bedroom, the consequences would have been unimaginable," they said. Such stories are not rare. At Sunshine Garden, a massive wall collapsed, sending furniture tumbling into a river. A resident lamented, a 15-story building just 3 years old, reduced to this. "Have we sinned against heaven and earth? Those who speak out pay a heavy price." Tan Xiaokun, a Sichuan teacher, was detained for a year after photographing collapsed schools in the 2008 earthquake. His family was denied visits, and his story was suppressed. Brotherki, a Hainan whistleblower, exposed illegal waste dumping only to receive threats. Even murderers get a second chance. You should know when to stop. When disaster strikes, the CCP doesn't fix it, controls the narrative, silences truth-tellers, and leaves citizens to bear the consequences. Economic collapse, debt, and broken dreams. The tofu crisis doesn't exist in isolation. It's part of a broader picture of a faltering China. The economy, once the engine of the Chinese dream, is spiraling, leaving millions drowning in debt. Song Yuan, a Jiangsu entrepreneur, once earned 100 million yuan annually from real estate projects with Vanke and Evergrande. Now she faces 30 million yuan in debt, shunned by friends and haunted by her children's future. "I used to spend money like water. Now I eat alone," she said, her voice breaking. Liu Donglin, another tycoon, fled his hometown with just a watch and a car, leaving behind 20 million yuan in debt. Such stories flood Chinese social media, where once successful entrepreneurs share their despair. The real estate sector, once an economic pillar, lies in ruins with stalled projects and frozen payments. Tofu projects aren't just stations or dams. They symbolize an economy built on sand, where corruption and haste trump accountability. Politics and propaganda. A wall hiding the truth. Behind every collapsed project lies a political system that prioritizes power over people. Corruption is the root. A 2015 Transparency International survey found 35% of Chinese firms admitted to bribing officials to secure construction contracts. Xi Jinping's anti-corruption campaign, launched in 2013, felled many officials, but is seen by experts as more about consolidating power than fixing the system. Zonu, a university student, revealed her uncle, a contractor, routinely used cheap materials while charging for premium ones. "Corruption is the first thing we think of. It's too common," she said. While the CCP spends millions on influencer-driven propaganda with drone footage and glossy filters, the truth is buried. Searches for coup incident vanish. Videos of Fuba's floods are censored. Whistleblowers like Mr. G and Brother Key face threats. Instead of addressing problems, the regime controls the narrative, leaving citizens to face the fallout of tofu projects and a failing relief system. After the Sichuan earthquake, donations disappeared into bureaucratic black holes, and aid sat unused in warehouses. In 2025's floods, volunteers delivered food and medicine to isolated areas themselves, knowing the government wouldn't come. The Day of Reckoning. China stands at a crossroads. The tofu projects from Ku Station to the Three Gorges Dam, from Chongqing's mall to Fuba's ancient streets, are symptoms of a deeper crisis. The economy is crumbling, society is fracturing, and a political system hides the truth with propaganda and censorship. Over 400,000 people lost homes in 2025's floods. Entire communities were erased. Public trust was swept away with the muddy waters. The cracks aren't just in concrete. They're in the narrative the CCP has built an invincible China, where infrastructure is a source of national pride and the Chinese dream is destiny. But as ceilings collapse, dams break, and people are abandoned, the truth spills out. This is not just a crisis of floods or infrastructure. It's the collapse of a system where corruption, negligence, and silence have turned marvels into disasters. The Chinese people aren't just battling nature, they're battling a government that refuses to listen. And beneath the mud, the ruins of Fubaku and countless broken dreams whisper an undeniable truth: the day of reckoning has come.